So I've done EV conversions in the past, but I never really covered sound. Partly because back then, it seemed too hard. Then Twin Turbos has done some stuff on how to do it, but I'm going to give you a one-step, simple solution. And if you want to know just that, and you don't really love me at all, and all that sort of stuff, you can jump to the time cards marked below. But I know you wouldn't do that to me. You'd subscribe and like this video, right? Good, I think I snuck that one past them. But let me take you on an epic tale, a journey way back to the before times, the 90s. And in the 90s, Ford made a car, the end. This is actually the Ford Indigo. Ford was going through a bit of a concept car craze, and I had learned about this one back then in Need for Speed 2 Special Edition. And yeah, I'm going to try to recreate something kind of like that today, but EV, and I'm going to show you how to do custom sounds on it. This is going to be pretty fun. Now, this car was made basically to show off the Indy car prowess, so we're going to do what they did. So this car is going to be complete carbon fiber, and it was all just a monocoque, a unitub or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was. But yeah, this is a car I looked up a while ago, and I've been fascinated with it ever since. And we're gonna go, I want a rear engine. So unfortunately, we're gonna have to change bodies. I want something short and sporty. These have fairly low drag coefficients, so 2.6 meter long it is. And we're gonna go with mid-transverse because the motor is basically gonna be as a part of the axle itself. Then probably a double wishbone and a double wishbone. Just something fairly simple. We're not gonna increase the quality because this vehicle is gonna be quite heavy. It's still going to have its full battery pack and electric motor, so the vehicle is not gonna be light. The engine itself is also gonna be quite heavy, so we're gonna go with the heaviest one we can get. So a big honking V6 it is. Lots and lots of weight. Then drop the quality on that because it doesn't really matter. None of this particularly matters. That does way more good. We're not going to bother with turbochargers, even though that does add extra weight. Twin seems to be the heaviest, and a standard intake also seems quite heavy. Though it's now getting very tall. Not actually much we can do, unfortunately. 100 RON doesn't matter. Short cast exhaust and super heavy. Okay, I seem to be encountering some kind of glitch. I've got now switched over to all of the lightest internals. I've put the RPM down to 2000 RPM and the engine's like, nah, can't do it. That's very weird. Okay, well, that's how we're doing it then. 300 kilo engine sounds good to me. Not even gonna bother listening to it. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna turn off the chassis and turn off the body because we're not working with that at all. That does look like a neat package though. Driveline, rear wheel drive, obviously. We're just gonna go with a manual for now. We'll deal with the rest later. I don't like to do EVs with automatic gearboxes. It makes life just a little bit more complicated. We'll go 4-speed, but honestly, we're not going to use 4-speed. Gonna go with an electronic LSD to get that great torque vectoring. Radials and semi-slicks. We're gonna make this car super wide as possible. Doesn't seem we can actually make it as wide as I want though. Carbon fiber wheels. Carbon ceramic brakes all the way around so then we can keep ourselves nice and stopped when we need to. Fully clad under train. Quite a bit of drag from the brake airflow. There's gonna be no engine thermal, so we're gonna turn that down quite a bit, all the way down. Actually, and high quality on the aerodynamics. Interior, we don't need it to be that heavy, though I suppose, yeah, no, we'll have a thick rear seat for, like, extra seating. We'll see how it goes. Electronic power steering, ABS, obviously, and probably no safety. We have a lot of weight distribution to the rear, unfortunately, and the vehicle is heavier than what it really would be. All right, let's get rid of these seats then. Nope, that hasn't worked. Okay. That's a little bit more respectable now. We're at 1,200 kilograms, which is still quite a bit, but this thing would probably have quite the battery pack. Then for the weight distribution, it's not horrible, but it's also not fantastic, if we're being honest. And you may also notice that I changed the engine up a little bit. So the engine is still quite heavy, but at least now I've got a better weight distribution. I moved a little bit more weight to the front. God, I can't wait for the new update. It's going to make weight distribution so much better. Let's start off with some real fancy wheels. That's a very dated sort of design, but I think it also works quite well. Now we're gonna go for this sort of teardrop reverse kind of shape that I like so much. So 3D fixtures, and we're gonna find ourselves a partial circle of some sort. This probably? No, that's the one. Much better. Okay, now that we have that, let's make it big. Yeah. The good thing is this is pivoted right here at the back, so I can just set up where I want the back of the car to be, and then we can just extend the front out as much as we need and not have a single problem. Oh, much better. Now, to choose the car body color. I think red is a bit ostentatious, but it does look cool. We could go with the green color because it's meant to be a green car. Yeah, I think that works pretty well. I like it a lot. Now, because I don't like this being just flat, we're gonna just play with this a little bit. And boop, there we go. Now, it's a little bit more weirdy, sort of futuristic-y sort of thing from the 90s. And I'm thinking for the windshield, I'm gonna do a little bit of a trick here. I don't know if this is gonna work, but we're gonna give it a try. Ah, there we go. That's what we want to see. Now we have a windshield. It's got these weird cut-ins, but you know what? I don't mind. It looks kind of more futuristic and cool. I have another idea. What do you guys think? Is it looking pretty good? I noticed that the suspension is sticking out, and I don't really want to edit it too much. So I think we'll do a little bit of work with the suspension. That's kind of fixing it. What did the Indigo do? I think it's just kind of hidden it behind the front wing, and then the suspension just goes right into the body. I think also the body is a bit wider. I don't know. Sounds like too much effort to me. Now to put the engine in. So the question is do I go with just the lazy method of using the mod electric motor that somebody put in as soon as I can find it somewhere? As you can see, it's not really fashionable. Not the sort of thing I'm going for, so we're gonna make it entirely custom. That's looking a little bit better. Yeah, I like it. And that also allows me to link up to the suspension just a smidgen bit easier. We do, however, have to connect now the motor to the actual thing. And I think for that, we're just going to use a simple square. Looks fairly good. Maybe I should make the motor a bit bigger. There we go. That looks a little bit more convincing now. Now just to put some sort of power thing on there to, like, hook up the power cables. Oh, that could do the trick. I know this is meant to be a weight, but as you would have seen in one of my previous streams from just last week, that it doesn't actually add any weight. Now to get some sort of cable into the car. So it's got to be like a thick tube. So maybe I'll just use some exhaust pipe and say that that's power cables running to it, which is going to look pretty cool, I reckon. There we go. That's looking the part now. Kind of, but also not really. Just a bit of a weird angle, honestly. Not going to be able to sleep at night if I know that that's at a weird angle. That works much better. I think that's possible. Does that help? Does it? I don't know. I don't know if that's helping or not. You know what? Yeah, nah, that does kind of help. What else? Headlights? Yeah, we need headlights. We'll just attach them to the suspension like that, and I think we're good. Now just indicators, and that's basically it, right? I don't know, do they look all right? I don't know, they're a bit weird. There we go. We've just combined it now with a more modern sort of headlight, and it looks a little bit better, at least. Do we put wings on this? I don't think we do. I think we're going to keep this pretty basic. Oh yeah, indicators. Kind of starting to look a bit like a face. I'm not sure if I'm happy with that. Oh, that's looking good. Kind of almost looks like it's meant to be like that. Now, what company do I put this under? I kind of want to put this under my Ace brand because they like to do weird and wacky things. So I think I'm going to. Like, I am relying on the Ace brand a lot, but I love it. It's going to be called the EV Blob because it kind of just looks a bit like a blob, honestly. Now the last thing to do is to decide on a wheel color. Yellow and green? Make it the same color, maybe? Oh, faded yellow looks nice. With a low sheen? Pretty good. Or do we go black wheel? I do like a black wheel. Or white? Oh, white looks good. You know what? Yeah, nah, we're gonna go with a white matte finish wheel. Now it's time for me to go do some modifications. Actually, hold on. With the really slow engine of 14.3 kilowatts, which is like, oh my god, Yugo sort of territory if Yugo had a blown head gasket. Only 4 minutes, so not actually horrible. Just not good per se. So after a load of tweaking, I also went in and put some wings on it. I finally got the electric conversion done. And you hear that? It's still kind of using a normal petrol motor sound, just, you know, a little bit weird and munted because of the way in which this is all done. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to do a one trick little thing that we can do. You unpack your car, you open the car up, you go into the files of it, and then you find the engine JBeam, which is what we've got open here. Then if you scroll down just a little bit, you'll find sound config and sample name. Now, this has got a long convoluted hash here for the number. What that is if you go into here, and instead of going to vehicle, you go to art and go into sound, then go into blends, it's calling upon this. Then this is calling upon, let's go back a little bit, engine. Then in here, it's got all of the names of the files. But what we can do is we can actually just replace this with existing things already in BeamNG's main game. And that's where this all comes into play. So this is a little graph that I made here. There will be a link to it in the description. You got like inline 3 sounds if you want it, and then there's the inline 3 exhaust sound, and then there's a different inline 3, inline 4 diesel. Wait, hold on. We'll remove the diesel because the diesel is in there twice. Then you've got the inline 4 engine, then you got one exhaust sound, then you got a different exhaust sound. You can basically pick any of these, or if you want a slight variation, you can pick one of these. This one is a bit weird. It's got a different option. But we've got 2 electric motors to choose from. So I'm going to go ahead, copy that, and then where the whole weird number is, I'm going to paste in there, Control S, come over to here, and if we take a quick listen, you can barely hear it, actually. Let's instead turn this up a fair amount to 17. Well, that's weird. Changing the main gain doesn't change anything anymore. That is so strange. Like, I just had it at 7,000 and it made no difference. So, yeah, anyway, we're gonna go with the original change. I don't know what is happening. Now, the new sound. Let's try the other engine. So I'm gonna go grab this one, Control C, Control V, and then save it. Refresh, and now you hear the different engine sounds. Now you can tweak all of these sorts of things here if you want to be able to get what you need. Though it seems this is a bit of an issue. You cannot change the volume. And anyway, you've got a whole bunch of different engines here. You got, so the inline 3, the boxer 4, the inline 4, inline 5, inline 6, V6, V8, and cross-plane and flat-plane V8s. Then you've got diesel, 6 diesels, V8 diesels, and then a bus diesel. So there's a lot of different choices here. If, however, you want to do a little bit more custom sort of stuff, you can go into content, you can go into vehicles, and then try to figure out which vehicle is which, because they're all named horribly here. So say, for instance, I want to go to the Vivis, go into the vehicle here, and then find the engines. So you can see here that you got electric motor, and then you got a whole bunch of regular engines, and then you got exhaust ones, but we don't need exhaust. What you would do is you would use one from one of these, or if you're using electric motor, this. Oh, well, apparently the electric motors don't have a lot of extra information here. Let's try going to a different engine. Let's just go like an inline 4. All of these inline 4s are going to have exactly the same sample name. The only thing that's different is these numbers here are going to be different. So let's go ahead and grab that. So we're going to paste that whole bit of text in. And then you've got all of the extra sounds that come with it. But no, we're gonna keep it with our just straight old electric motor _2. If you're also doing electric stuff, you may want to come up and remove everything to do with shifting sounds and particulates. I, on the other hand, removed all the exhaust nodes, so I don't need to worry about this. So let's just go ahead and test out my fantastic vehicle. I absolutely love this thing, by the way. It's not like going to beat anybody's records of any sorts of things. Oh god, okay, well, we have a bit of an understeer problem. It's probably because I didn't tune the tires after I put the wing on. This thing has, like, I think 2,000 Newton meters of torque, like something absolutely just ridiculous. It gets to 0 to 100 in about, I think it's 2.4 seconds. So it's not like ridiculously fast. I tried to make something a little bit unique and different. Oh, get turned, get turned, get turned. Oh, okay, yeah, nah. It needs wider front tires, and I could edit that in right now, but kind of just want to show you what it is I've done. I also, I did increase the rear friction because I was getting just way too much wheel spin. There was nothing I could do with it. Like, I even tried putting on wider rear tires, and it didn't work. So I made the tires bold, as you can see, and then I turned the friction up on the rear. So the fronts are probably just really suffering now with just everything that I've done to this car to make it handle at all. As you can see, it's got a lot of torque. Oh dear. I'm tempted to do this again, but like tune the tires properly and try to take this thing up. Pikes Peak. Oh my god. The moment you're like a little bit sideways, and if you floor it and you're not like very stable at the time, the thing's gonna kick out and go super duper around in circles. Oh my god. And as you can see here, the top speed gets up to about 250. Now, I've found out why automation cars no longer seem to have, I mean, ordinarily, a top speed. The thing, like, will go beyond what automation says it will do and go all the way up to whatever the red line is. And I'll show you in a second. I am enjoying driving this car a little bit. Nope. Okay, well, bugger. Let's, go around the corkscrew. Yeah. Okay, yep, and we are good. All right, let's have a look at what I found out. They've removed the top speed limiter. So if you want to reactivate a top speed limiter, you would just remove those two things there, and then you would tune this to however you want it to be. Just keep in mind that it's in meters per second, so it's a little bit tricky, and it's not always what you would think. Yeah, it's weird. My god, I love this thing so much. This will be up in the BeamNG repository if you want to try it out, and I'm still not sold on this. I just don't understand why I don't like it. Also, this has become a very weird shape. Should I try to do a lap? Yeah, let's do a lap, but we're gonna do it on the track in which I have the most amount of times on. So we're gonna go automation test track for this one. I am not expecting the greatest of times. I'm guessing we're gonna be somewhere around 2.5. Okay, yeah, nah. The BeamNG is still having lots of bugs. I thought that that was like the whole point of them fixing UI things and changing it all around to fix these sorts of things, but no, there's still lots of bugs. And whilst modifying this thing, I had to restart BeamNG twice because the okay, please be a little bit nicer to me. Oh god, okay, turn. All right, let's restart. Oh well, god damn it, brakes are not that great. Ow. Now stop your fat top a lot. Okay, there we go. Much better this time round. Still, with the understeer, it's not the greatest vehicle, I will admit, but I get the feeling that there would be so many compensations to make a two-wheel drive 2,000, I'm just gonna say units of torque, because I don't actually know what units of torque the dot engine is in. Wait, is that? It's glitching out again. Fantastic, BeamNG devs. Good job you've done there to remove all the glitches. I get the feeling we're probably going to understeer around here in the slingshot, so... No, I suppose we didn't actually need to lift at all. Though, I suppose we didn't really scrub off much speed either. Let's slow down super early for the Bavarian bend, because this can be really tricky on heavier cars that don't have great suspension setups. Because it's like a really horrendously bad, like 90-degree off-camber corner. I mean, it's a bit of a sweeper, but still, it's pretty brutal with how off-camber it is. And then let's come around Popsicle. Oh, almost spun out even entering Popsicle. But we've got Popsicle down. Understeer. Okay, now into Adam's Apex. And we have to go really slow through Adam's Apex. This car does not like Adam's Apex at all. And vice versa, I'm assuming the track hates this car because it just tried to spear me off. Under the... Yeah, Cossacks doing all right. And then coming in for Lamb's Hope. Ooh, have to slow down a lot there. And then... Ooh... We got a little bit mixed up and I had to lift off the throttle. Oh, actually a 201. That's pretty good for a car that doesn't handle particularly brilliantly. Oh dear. Well, for now, I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. I hope that little tidbit of information for you has been useful. If you want to do any sort of modifications. If you want to know more about modifications, I'll put links to other modification things. If you want to know how I did like the suspension modifications, let me just quickly reset. As you can see here, the strut towers are missing and all that sort of stuff. I also did a whole bunch of node editing to clean this up because this car was a mess of a mesh. Yeah, no, I said that right. My brain just went, that wasn't right. But no, I got it right. But yeah, so... lots of things in the description. If you did like the video, please go ahead and like it. And if you do like me and you're not subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. Though, most of my viewers are my subscribers, so that means that I'm creating the sort of content that my subscribers like to watch, and that makes me feel good. Maybe if there's the sort of thing you like, maybe you should hang around. But for now, I'll catch you guys next time. Goodbye.